Hello, I'm Ajay Khandelwal. I'm here today with a video for you people. The objective of this video is to tell you, to share with you how to synthesize the various features of a chart. We are all taught that a particular planet will do this thing, an exalted Jupiter will give this result, a debilitated Saturn will give this result, a planet in the first house will give this result, and so on and so forth. But when we actually start looking at a chart, just the one factor or just these individual factors combined together, do they give us the right result? Do they allow us to make the right prediction? Are your clients happy with that? I'm sure you would have found that looking at the various features of a chart, and a chart has only 9 planets, 12 houses, 12 rashis, and multiple permutations and combinations. A synthesis of these is the most important thing in the analysis of a chart. What planet is impacting which planet? How are they working? What is the net result? That is very important. We want to share this with you with a live session with James Braha. James Braha, as you are aware, is a world-renowned Vedic astrologer based in the USA. And I have selected a particular chart which has many strongly good and strongly bad features. This is a live chart of a live person. So let me first share the chart with you, explain the chart to you briefly, and then invite James Braha to give his views on the chart. So as you can see, this is a chart of a Virgo ascendant. Now in this chart, you have a Jupiter exalted in the 11th house. You have a Sun exalted with Rahu in the 8th house. We have a full moon in the 2nd house along with Ketu. Now both Sun and Moon are being impacted badly by Rahu and Ketu. You can all see that. You have the ascendant lord debilitated in the 7th house. You have Venus in its own house, in its own Rashi in the 9th house. So this is a chart having multiple good and multiple bad features. And as I said, it's a live chart, not a chart for education purposes. Let me now call James Braha and ask him to share his views about this chart with you. Further point, I had said a chart to you. Would you like to explain something about the chart? I picked as a chart with many complications or many features.
Yeah. Well, it's first of all, there's got to be some difficulties. It's a very complex horoscope. There's got to be some complications in married life because he has a fallen planet in the 7th house.
Yeah.
Mercury fallen in the 7th. Saturn in the 7th house also is not helping anything. Now, Jupiter and Mars aspecting the 7th house is not helping anything. So there's going to be problems in relationships. Jupiter is aspecting, first of all, the 7th ruler, Jupiter, is exalted. That's very good for marriage. And the 7th ruler is in the 11th house exalted. So the partner could be wealthy. The partner would be a friend because it's in the house of friends and groups.
Yeah.
But there would be problems in relationships. On top of that, Sun and Rahu are 7 houses away from the moon. Tightly so.
Yeah, very tight.
The Sun is 10 degrees, the moon is 10 degrees, and Rahu's 13 degrees. So Sun and Rahu are 7 degrees away from the moon, and Sun's exalted. That could make the partner very powerful and very successful. And yet there could also be big troubles. Partner could be aggressive. It's a complicated chart. What I like about the career, is the fact that you see that Jupiter in Cancer in the 11th, in the Bhava chart, that's in the 10th house.
Okay.
Now, when you see it in the 10th house, you have to remember it's still Jupiter in the 3rd degree of Cancer. That's 2 degrees away from the highest point of exaltation, which is
Yes.
5th degree. Those high points of exaltation and those high points of fall, they are very serious. The
Yes.
planet gets very close. The sun is 14 minutes past the highest degree of exaltation. That's very strong. Once it passes the 10th degree, it starts to get weaker. But
Yes.
this Jupiter, so Jupiter is in the 10th house and the 11th, both. You have to read both.
Yeah.
But when you read Jupiter in the 10th, you have to remember it's exalted in the 3rd degree of Cancer in the 10th. You don't
Yes.
suddenly move it to Gemini. That's going to help the career. And in the Dasamsha chart, this person has Rahu in the 10th house of the Dasamsha chart. That's going to be a big career. Okay.
Okay.
Now, can there be some troubles in career? Sure, there can, because Mercury is very afflicted.
Yeah.
It's afflicted because it's fallen. It's with Saturn. It's hit by Mars. Mercury's in tough shape. That's going to harm the confidence. It is very good, however. It is very good, however, that Mercury aspects the ascendant. So
Yes.
this person has Mars in the ascendant, mechanical technical skills, aspected by Mercury in Mercury's exaltation sign. So this
Yes.
person can be a leader. They can be powerful. At first, you think, oh, this person's completely lost because the ascendant ruler is so afflicted. But
Yes.
that Mercury aspects the Mars. So the Mars in the first, aspected by Mercury within 6 degrees in Mercury's exaltation, that's going to be a very powerful Mars in the first, and that's going to be good. Now the
But
Moon
the
is,
Mars is the eighth house ruler.
yeah, so it's metaphysical, psychic. It may harm confidence, but it's still going to be a strong Mars. There should be some mechanical, technical skills. And the 8th house here for astrology and metaphysics is phenomenal.
Phenomenal, you say?
Phenomenal, yeah. For the 8th house is the strongest house in the chart, I think. The 9th is very strong, Venus in the 9th. So gurus will love him or her. Is this a man or a woman?
Man, male.
Yeah. So gurus will love this person because Venus in the 8th house, 9th house. He'll be more famous after he dies because the 9th house is a life is after you die. He'll be more respected after he dies. But this 8th house, exalted sun,
Yeah.
14 minutes past highest point, in the
Yeah.
8th house, along with Rahu, aspected by a full moon,
Yes.
and
The
Mars.
sun gains from the moon. The sun gains from the moon.
What?
The sun gains from the moon.
Yes, tremendously,
Yeah.
tremendously. And that's very spiritual too, because the sun is the 12th house ruler, which is moksha, enlightenment. So it's very strong spiritually and extremely strong for metaphysics. The 8th house, there should be a long life because of the 8th house. He may get money without having to work for it, wills, legacies, insurance companies, pensions. But the moon is in terrible shape. The moon is not just burned by the sun. The moon is in Libra, in the 10th degree. The worst place for the sun is the 10th degree of Libra. The sun is aspecting the moon in the 11th degree of Libra,
Yeah.
burning, burning, burning. And the moon is with Ketu. The emotional comfort is not good. There could be troubles with the stomach. If it was a woman, it would be the stomach, the breast, the brain, the menstrual cycle. That moon is in trouble. It rules the 11th. It rules the 11th, but Jupiter's in the 11th, helping. Okay.
Yeah.
But that moon for mother, the moon now the 4th house ruler is good too. That's Jupiter. It's exalted.
Yeah.
But the moon is going to be emotionally difficult. The moon being with Ketu is very psychic. The most typical aspects, if you go to a psychic fair where there's 10 or 15 psychics doing readings for everybody,
Yeah.
so many of them, if you get their birth data, so many of them have the moon conjunct Ketu.
So what you
The
were
moon
telling?
conjunct Ketu is very psychic and metaphysical, but this is really a very, very afflicted moon. There'll be some lack of emotional happiness. There may be problems with the mother. There's the moon is in trouble.
So what you are telling us that sun is with Rahu, And moon is with Ketu. And what I understand from you is that Rahu is helping the sun,
Yes.
while Ketu is
Well,
harming the moon.
it's helping the eighth house. Cravings and desires for metaphysical, cravings and desires for other people's money. Rahu there is giving metaphysical, psychic, all that. The sun is there as well, exalted. So, in other words, if he just had the sun there, aspected by the full moon, without Rahu, that eighth house would be phenomenal. You add Rahu in, it makes it even stronger. The eighth house, maybe sexy appearance too.
Okay. And Mars is also aspecting the 8th house.
Even stronger.
Even stronger.
Even stronger.
So for
Oh,
this person,
wait. Only because it's aspecting its own sign.
James, your voice is slightly low now.
It's only Mars aspecting the eighth house is only stronger because it's aspecting its own sign, Aries.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would say no, that's not good. But the fact that Mars aspects its own sign, Aries, that makes it good. This person could live to 100 with that eighth
Live to
house.
100.
Well, they could. I'm not saying they will, but
Yeah.
the longevity is phenomenal.
Understood. Tell me one thing, James, a very interesting point came here. Mars is aspecting the 8th house, and Mars is, of course, not friendly to Rahu. So, how do you think the Mars aspect on Rahu would work actually?
I don't care about the friends between Rahu and Mars.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that in the regular friendship scheme from Parashara that they're not friends, or is it?
I don't know, but I think
Yeah.
I've written a lot of books.
All I could tell you is that eighth house doesn't quit. That is a strong, magnificent eighth house. Now I got to tell you, this person, when they get older, if this person has health problems that
Okay.
where the health problems are very weird and very strange,
Okay.
what the doctors normally do is they check the blood, they check the liver, they check the kidneys, they check everything.
Yeah.
The last thing they check is the brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this case, now I'm talking about brain tumors cause problems that are weird and strange that you can't diagnose. That's what brain tumors do.
Okay.
So if this person, when they get older, if they have health problems that are hard to diagnose, do not bother going through all the tests. The first test is the brain, because the moon and Mercury are the two mental planets, and they are the weakest planets in the chart. So there
Yeah.
is some possibility of brain sensitivity.
Oh, very interesting point.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
he may have headaches too. People like
Sorry.
he might have headaches even before that. People that have headaches usually have Mercury and Moon afflicted. They have headaches.
Understood.
Yeah.
So you said you explained the 8th house, you explained the 7th house. What about the first house?
The first house is very hard to say because it's very complicated. Uh, the first house has more strength than it appears
Mm-hmm.
because Mercury throws its aspect onto the first house and it's the exaltation sign. Therefore, Mars Mars in the first house is not a very nice placement. The person's aggressive and they're rude and they're bossy and things like that. But this Mars, because it's aspected by a planet aspecting it in its exaltation sign, could make the Mars more positive. It would, instead of being so rude and blunt, it could give them some leadership, some power that works for them, that helps them rather than hurts them. Um, Saturn aspects the ascendant. That doesn't help, but that's not good. Saturn aspecting the ascendant ruins the confidence a little bit. But
Yeah.
the main thing here, and this again, when I went to India, nobody looked at degrees. But because I was a Western astrologer, in my first book, I didn't talk about degrees because
Okay.
I didn't want to mix what I knew from Western. But after 3 or 4 years, I said, oh my God, you have to use degrees. So the ascendant is 20 and Mercury is 22. So
Yeah.
Mercury's aspect on that ascendant could make him youthful looking, could make him good looking, youthful looking, intelligent, intellectual, communicative. So the ascendant's pretty good. Even though you got Saturn aspecting and Mars there, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it has both Saturn and Mars, so big malefics there.
Yeah, but they
That's
are
good.
softened by this aspect from Mercury.
Yeah, there's
It's
often that.
yeah. It's great for astrology. It should be a very good career, spiritual career, because of the Jupiter, which will fall in the 10th house, as well as the 11th, both. Both.
Yeah.
If if Jupiter was not in the 11th house, there could not be any eldest sibling, because the 11th ruler is so burned. But with Jupiter there, it's possible there could be an eldest sibling. If Jupiter was not in the 11th, there'd be no good activities with friends and groups.
Yeah.
But Jupiter is there, so there can be. There can be.
Yeah.
Now, what's the dashas here? Oh, Mercury. So I don't like the Mercury dasha very much.
You don't
That
like
would
the Mercury Dasha?
that would not be my no. That would not be my favorite dasha. Mercury, Saturn, and Mercury, Mars are not going to be good.
Okay.
They are not going to be good. There'll be troubles. There could be relationship troubles in Mercury, Mars. There could be all kinds of troubles in that. In that.
So to share with you, James, just to share with you, the Mercury Dasha started in 2015, and Mercury, both Dasha and Bhukti, I think was the best period for the native in terms of career and income. Mercury and Ketu was not so good. He changed a job. And Mercury Venus, last year he was out of a job and doing badly now.
Um, Venus should be good. Venus is the Yoga Karaka. It's in its own sign. It's in the 9th house. If Mercury was good,
Very good.
very good. There's some other reason other than Mercury. If
What would be
Mercury,
your mind?
if Mercury was so good, Mercury Venus would be way better. Way
Should
better.
be better.
Huh?
Should be
Mercury,
way better.
Mercury Venus, Mercury Jupiter, those would be wonderful. I don't think that the luck was because of Mercury. There's something else, something from Western astrology, something from Gemini. That Mercury is not so good. It's for the nervous system. I don't think it's so good.
Maybe the transits last year were not good. Saturn and Ketu coming together and Rahu coming together, all these are
The
malefic.
Mercury Dasha is not so good.
The Mercury Dasha is not so good, you
The
say.
Mercury Dasha is not so good. The Mercury, there must have been some transits or progressions or something from Gemini that was good. You watch, the Mercury Dasha as a whole is not going to be such a good Dasha. At least that's
Saturn
how I
was
see it.
better. Saturn was better, Jupiter was better. That's what you're saying.
Say that again?
The Saturn Dasha, the Jupiter Dasha were better. That's what you're saying. Mercury Dasha,
Oh,
the
oh,
five
oh, oh.
Dashas.
Jupiter Dasha is very good. I don't know. Saturn's not great. I don't see Saturn. There's nothing great about Saturn. Maybe it's okay, but I don't see Saturn as being great. But Mercury's the one I would be most concerned about for the
What
lung,
about
for the lungs, the intestines, the nervous system, things like that.
the Ketu? Ketu is in the second house.
Natally, you mean?
No, I mean the Ketu Dasha. How would the Ketu Dasha be?
It's really hard to say. It could be it could be problematic in family life. I would
Okay.
I would expect this person didn't have good family life growing up. Now, when it comes to India, it's very difficult because the cultures are different.
Yeah.
But if this was a chart from an American, the family life would be a disaster. It's too much malefic energy in the second house and the 8th house.
Yeah, but this is chart from India and the person had a very good family life till now.
What's that?
Apart from the person had a very good family life till now. apart from the issues in the marriage.
Mm. Yeah, like I say, India is a little bit different. It's a little bit different. The cultures are different.
Cultures are
That's why
different.
that's why I said if this person was from America, the family life would be terrible. But I don't have very good luck. Like if I talk about children, if I'm doing a chart and the child looks terrible for an Indian, they say, "Oh no, the child's wonderful." It's a different culture.
Yeah.
There's much more closeness. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Ketu is hard. Ketu is hard to say. It's it's very hard to say. It could be well. The aspect from the sun is terrible
Okay.
because it's aspecting its fallen sign Libra.
Yeah.
The aspect from the moon is good,
The
but
moon is good. It is
yeah,
next to Ketu.
yeah. So it's hard to say, but it's going to have to do with money and family life.
It is going to have, sorry, what?
It's going to relate to money and family life.
That's the
That-
second house.
yeah, yeah. But there could be some illusion or deception, some cheating with money. He might be cheated with money, or he might cheat somebody else. It's a possibility. So be
Okay.
very, very careful. He could make oil. He could make money with oil, gas, film, photography in
Okay.
that period. Yeah.
Okay. Just to share with you, this chart has a Vargottam and a retrograde Mars.
Yeah,
And
Vargo Tama is useless to me. It doesn't.
yes, just to share with you, the native has no great benefit from Mars. He doesn't have negative features of Mars, not positive.
So he has no mechanical technical skills, computers, engineering.
No, he is into finance. He's into finance and
So,
accounting.
so the finance is the eighth house, handling other people's money,
Yes,
and
yes,
Venus is very strong.
yes.
Yeah,
But
but
generally, he has had no benefit of a Vargottam Mars and a retrograde Mars. He had no benefit of a good Mars in his life.
forget about the Vargo Tama because it doesn't work anyway.
I'm just sharing a
Yeah,
real life example of what you're saying.
yeah. Vargo Tama just doesn't work.
Because anybody in
Hundred.
India who gets a Vargottam Mars sitting in the ascendant, so good should be very good for you.
Yeah. I would have thought that Mars would have some ability because it's aspected by Mercury, but so how is his confidence?
Confidence is low.
That's more of the moon than it is of the ascendant. That moon
That's
is
more.
in that moon. It couldn't be much worse because if you took the Mars away from the ascendant, I think that the confidence would be worse. The Mars gives him some ability to present himself. That's how I see it.
Just to share with you, the native, of course, has lack of confidence, a lot of mental stress, some of which can be imaginary also, or goes beyond the normal stress one should have.
The moon
But
and the moon and Mercury are the mental planets. This person cannot be emotionally in a good state.
yeah, but he has a very strong mother, and the mother is very strong.
Yeah, astrology is not 100%.
Yes,
And the fourth house ruler is good. It's
very good,
exalted. Very good. Yeah.
exalted,
Yeah.
exalted. So mother is not very good. Mother is very strong. Sorry, mother is very strong. So we are now 1 minute, 1 hour 30 minutes. Uh, would you like to say something more, James, about Rahu Ketu? A couple of insights, practical insights,
Just in general, you mean?
just in general. Yeah.
Well, Rahu and Ketu get a very bad rap from superstitious people. Rahu represents insatiable cravings and desires for worldly power. So if Rahu aspects the 10th house, that's going to increase the power of career. If Rahu aspects the 7th house, the partner may be intense or smothering, but the partner may also be powerful. So people think these Rahu and Ketu are so terrible. Yes, they have some negative, they're malefics, but uh, I happen to like a lot of the aspects that they throw. Depends where they're throwing them, of course, but to me, Rahu is insatiable cravings and desires. Now, if you're in a dasha of Rahu, the problem with that dasha is that no matter what you get, there's no contentment because you want more. You want and you want more and you want more. Ketu is good for film and photography and magic and oil and gas. Ketu is good spiritually, metaphysically. If you see charts where Ketu's in, like when you're doing astrology, you're doing charts for people that are psychic and metaphysical and spiritual. You'll often find Ketu in Virgo, Ketu with Jupiter, Ketu with Mercury. You'll find Ketu with benefics, or you'll find Ketu in Virgo, and that's what's making them spiritual and metaphysical. I tend to look more favorably on them than most.
One question about Ketu, James. One question. Ketu is supposed to be a flag bearer. You know, it can uplift the planets in the same house, right? Benefic planets, it can uplift. What do you think of that view or that
What
concept?
did you say? Malefic planets can uplift? Is that what you said?
No, Ketu is supposed to be the flag, and if it is supposed to be with Jupiter or Venus, it can uplift the capability of Jupiter or Venus. What do you think about that?
I never heard it. I never heard it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. If a planet gets near Ketu, that planet gets lost in a black hole.
Okay.
Now, the opposite is true. If a planet is near Rahu, that planet gets more powerful. Why? Because in Western astrology, the South Node tells us what the person did in past lives.
Yeah.
The North Node tells us what they're supposed to do in this life.
Yes.
So you're going toward the area where the North Node is.
Yes.
So if Venus is near the North Node, and you decide to go towards anything with Venus, meaning math or numbers or art or beauty, it's easy because you're going right toward that area anyway because the North Node is there. If Jupiter is near the North Node, it's very easy when you go toward religion, philosophy, spiritual stuff because Jupiter's there. If Mars is there, very easy to become mechanical, technical because Mars is near the node. But anything near the South Node gets lost in a black hole.
Understood. But James, just a quick question on the North Node, Rahu. Supposing the Sun and the Moon were to be near the North Node, will that they also gain or will they lose? Will they be under eclipse?
Well, the Moon is going to be very hurt because it's near two malefics.
Okay.
If the person wants to go towards something that is ruled by the Sun, it'll be very successful and very easy. I don't think the person would likely gravitate towards something connected to the Moon. They might not gravitate toward that because it's so afflicted by two malefics. If they did, it could go well, but it's hard to say.
So you are saying that the Sun closer to Rahu is not really too much of a problem.
The closer the Sun gets to Rahu,
yeah,
the more the Sun is willpower and authority and government. The closer Sun gets to Rahu, the more powerful the person is. You oftentimes get a person who is a megalomaniac. President Trump.
Yeah.
The Sun is with Rahu, aspected by a full moon. You oftentimes get these people that have this huge ego. Not always, but the ego becomes huge because the Sun is the ego, and it gets stronger by being near that Rahu. It's an affliction, but it still becomes stronger. So it's not the worst aspect having the Sun next to Rahu. Not so bad.
Very interesting.
Planets near Ketu are 10 times, 20 times worse than planets next to Rahu. Way worse.
Interesting to know. Very interesting to know. In fact, in this chart which I shared with you, the Sun has been one of the most beneficial planets for the native.
Yeah,
which is very close to Rahu, which is
sure,
what you said also.
Well, it's not, but that Sun is not just the Sun Rahu. That's the sun 14 minutes past the highest point of exaltation, aspected within a degree by a full moon. That sun is phenomenal. That sun couldn't be any stronger. And
Yeah.
it rules the 12th house. He's either going to be able to hold on to money, or he's going to be going toward moksha very good. But this is not an easy life because of the emotions and the peace of mind. They are disturbed.
Yeah, not an easy life. Anyway, James, it was a pleasure speaking to you. We hope to have more conversations with you, and we will, very interesting for our viewers also. Thank you for your time.
You're
And could you
welcome.
send me your books links and the
Yeah,
covers so I
yeah,
can add them to the video at the end?
yeah. So you want me to send you some? I can email you the book.
Yeah, you can email me the images.
Okay,
You can
and
email me.
and then use jamesbraha@gmail.com if they want the workshop.
I'll do that. I'll do
Okay.
that. Okay. Thank you. Nice
Thank
speaking
you.
to you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.